Good morning, good afternoon, and of course, good evening, and welcome to episode 15, I think, of the UK Chinwag Pinball podcast Thingammy Jiggy. I've got two guests with me this evening because we're showing off, basically. So we're going to be discussing some obscure things, some Cactus Canyon. We're going to be discussing some Godzilla, some theories on the playfield, and some shots. We're going to be discussing the Northern Lights pinball participation at a festival of, well, I was going to say festival of pinball, it's a festival of everything, actually, at the Play Expo, which is in Blackpool coming up. And we're going to be discussing an animated Yoda. Not quite Yoda. He's not called Yoda, he's called the Child, apparently. But seems a bit weird calling him that. Talking of weird, you will all understand this, being pinball aficionados. Yesterday, I couldn't hit a donkey's ass with a banjo. No matter how many times I switched on the machines, couldn't play. I mean, it's just draining constantly. My timing was out. It was just terrible. I just one of those days. I had the yips or whatever it's called in golf. Couldn't play at all. Absolutely useless. Today, 3 times on Deadpool, I've got 700 million, which is a really good score for me. It's not quite my top score, but 3 times 700 million, which is magnificent. And when I took Deadpool to Pinfest, as you will know by now, because I whinge about it almost weekly, Wayne got the top score on my machine, and it's 1.6 billion. So I'm getting there. I feel like I'm getting there. I've got a new strategy. And today I was bang on form, but I'm sure I'll be useless tomorrow. Talking about useless, actually. Good.
Do you know what? I wish I'd come up yesterday and given you a 2-player game in that case.
Yesterday, you should have done yesterday.
Yeah,
today,
absolutely.
Today, I'm the best in the universe again.
I don't think I'll be up this evening.
No, absolutely not. So we got Spencer with us today, and also joining us. Oh, this is going to test my memory. Well, not his name. His name's Ian. He's there. My memory.
Your useless memory.
Yeah. What episode were you?
Good question.
There you go. See.
Well, we're all as bad as each other because I don't know the answer to that either.
8, 7, 8, 9, 10, I don't know. 6, 7, 8, 9, I don't know. I can't remember. Anyway, how are you, Ian?
Yeah, good, mate. How are you doing? How are you, Spence?
Yeah, I'm pretty good actually, mate. Pretty good. Looking forward to a bit of pinball chat.
Well, there's lots to chat about. First of all, before we get this is getting the ball rolling, really. Spencer, you have been a very busy boy today, getting your name down on list, and not Santa's naughty list either. You've got your name down the list today.
Yes, yeah. I phoned Phil at Pinball Heaven, and I kind of put my money where my mouth is. Well, actually, technically, I haven't put any money anywhere just yet, but I have asked him to put me on the list for a new Cactus Canyon. That's been obviously the Chicago gaming company who got that waiting in the wings. It's due to be released at some point. But yeah, I put my hand up and got myself down on the list for an LE, which I didn't think was going to be my thing. I've kind of not really bought into the whole Stern sort of LE, sort of new in box type stuff at the moment. But Cactus Canyon does seem like a good deal, a really good deal.
Oh, see, I really like the look of it. We want to talk about some of this, talk about how the game's going to be hopefully improved. Look, the Cactus Canyon continued, which was explained to me on this very podcast. And of course, we've got Lyman Sheets, who's left Stern. It's like a transfer. It's like they've signed Ronaldo. Ian, what are your thoughts? Actually, I've got to say, Ian, I was been very impressed, mate. Obviously, we just spoke on the podcast, of which we can't remember what number it was. Your game knowledge is very good. You do know your pinball machines. I've listened to a little bit of your commentary. For those that you don't know, Ian was commentating on the competition at Pinfest as well. You got a pretty in-depth knowledge of games and rules and all that sort of thing. So I'd be interested in your opinion on Cactus Canyon, mate, really.
It's good. To be honest, I've never played the continued, so I don't know what extras in that. But yeah, the standard game is good. And I think anybody who's got Lyman Sheets on the payroll is knows what they're doing, because there's been a few games that have come out where he's on the code, and it might not have been so good initially, but then they've turned into absolute bangers.
Oh, are we talking about Walking Dead here? I think
Walking Dead, Batman 66, absolutely amazing games that Lyman's worked his magic on, and Elvira as well.
Yeah, I've got a little theory on this actually. So Elvira is an easy game. It has easy shots. It's not a particular. There's a drain down the middle if it comes out the pop bumpers a little bit slowly, but the drain is so long you've got time to do something about it. If you don't get frozen, you move the machine, you can generally do something about it. But I think it's a kind game. The shots are hittable. The shots are kind. I think what Lyman Sheets has done with the code on that is made the game more interesting. So the code makes the game harder. I think what he's done on Walking Dead is because I mean, a bit controversial maybe. I think it was a muck up. I think it's a complete screw up. I think the geometry on it's all wrong. So I think he did something different then. I think he came along and rescued that game, and actually, rather than make so Elvira, his code's made it harder. I think his code's gone on Walking Dead and made the game easier. What do you think about that, Ian?
I mean, I know there was a certain update when the game was new. We actually had it new at one of our events. I think it was 2014. We actually had the UK unveiling of Walking Dead, and it was pretty much a box of lights. There was barely any code in it. I do remember playing one of the updates at Darren's on his LE, and as soon as I played that, I was straight on the phone to Phil the next day saying, "Get me one of these games." You are right. There are things on Walking Dead that are a bit clunky in terms of the shot layout, but it's punishing. It's not an easy game, and some people like games like that where if you miss a shot, you're going to get your ass kicked.
Yeah. I'm not one of those people. It has to be said. No, I don't know. Listen, I don't mind missing a shot and getting my ass kicked. What I hate is hitting a shot and then getting my ass kicked, which I attack from Mars. Hit the saucer. Great. I'll hit the saucer. Bang. There you go. You've lost the ball. Fantastic. That annoys me quite a lot, to be honest with you. And I found that, but I understand you've got to hit the ball relatively cleanly on that particular game. So it's going to be really interesting, Spencer, to see what he does, because obviously I'm now gone. There's no more updates for Elvira. He's left me. He's deserted me. I've been dumped.
He'll be back. I'm sure he'll come crawling back.
Oh, he's a bastard. He won't. I've seen his sort before. He won't come back, Spencer. He's left me and Elvira stranded with half-naked code. Basically, no, it's fine. The game's brilliant, and he's done a great job on that. I wonder, actually, we were speaking on the phone earlier, Spencer, about, the old Bailey Williams. It's not a blank canvas, but it's a half-painted canvas in many respects, and he's there with his easel and his paintbrushes.
I don't know where you're going with that one.
I don't know.
We'll go with it.
You'd say a keyboard, wouldn't you, to do his code?
Pretty much.
Wow. It's very, very modern of you, Ian, to be fair. But maybe you can sort of create a halfway house with it, Spence.
It's quite interesting, because from what I can gather on the sort of reading around this, there's going to be almost two games in one. He's going to do a standard code line, and I don't know how that ties in with the Cactus Canyon Continued. I'm again like Ian, I haven't played it, but I don't know what the features of it are. Obviously, Cactus Canyon was basically an unfinished project, hence the reason there's about 980 machines out there or something silly. There's not many. That's one of the lowest volume ones there is. But there is talk of it being sort of a dual rule set in there. One rule set that pretty much replicates the existing game with probably some tidy ups in there, and then another one that substantially increases the rule set and makes the game a lot deeper. And that kind of piqued my interest, because I like Cactus Canyon as a game anyway. When I was up at Pinfest, I got to play it a good few times up there, and it's the first time I'd ever used one that was working. And I just think any game that has got the ease and the usability of some of those old Bailey Williams and the simple the simple sort of rule set when you want a simple rule set that can be pretty much switched over to a much more complicated, more in-depth rule set, that's got to be a bit of a winner.
Yeah, I would totally agree. And so I think you did play the continued quite possibly at the at Pinfest. It was Mike's one. I might be wrong. I wouldn't know the difference, but I've not played.
If it's the one from Flip Out, yeah, I think that does have continued on it.
Yeah. So I mean, that's going to be really interesting. So clearly, Spencer, you've decided. I mean, if you're going to get one, then it's pointless me getting one in that respect. So you've decided, yeah, absolutely. But you will. That's more going to be your decision than one of the Spike 2s, you think?
I think it suits my history of games a lot better. I do like the Bally Williams. I like the fact that they're easier for non-pinball players to pick up and have a go. Everybody that comes around to the house, my pinballs aren't in the games room; they're in the living room. So anybody that comes around to the house usually sort of we end up with a couple of beers and playing pinball. And for that, I mean, that's predominantly why I've kept theatre for such a long time, because it gives me a pinball fix. It's not the most in-depth game in the world, so I appreciate that, and not everybody likes it because of that. But it would be nice to have a kind of a system machine for theatre that's got that little bit of extra depth in there as well, and also being a modern game. I know that the Chicago pins have got bigger screens and all sorts of things going on if you get the LEs. They've got some nice armor on them, and it just looks like it's going to be a good remake. It certainly has the potential to be a good remake.
Yeah, well, I loved it. What I think of the Champion Pub. It reminded me of Champion Pub so much when I played it.
Yeah.
Of course, what they're Spencer Ian. We'll see if Ian knows. He probably does. What they're rumored to be making after Cactus Canyon.
Is it theatre?
Yeah.
Mm.
Look at his face picking up then.
I know. I do like my theatre. Would I chuck my theatre in for a remake? Probably not at this stage. Probably.
I don't think there'd be a lot in the price.
No, they're probably.
Yours is in such good nick. I wouldn't surprise me because, in fact, this is a really good opportunity for somebody to explain that, and I'm going to make Ian do it, which is basically Electrocoin, right? So, Spencer, the Chicago gaming basically, pinballs are dearer in this country than they are in the States for some brands. But this one's going to be more comparable because Electrocoin are not the middleman in this one. So actually, I think you're getting a better deal with Chicago Gaming Company. For those of us that don't know, Ian, who are Electrocoin?
They're a tax man.
So I've heard.
Yeah, they get the games in, and then the likes of Pinball Heaven have to sort of get it through them to get it to your door. So there's the phrase, the Electrocoin tax, if you would.
So is that why sometimes certainly I know there's a bit of mystery around what machines are coming in. Is it because they're going to Electrocoin first, and then they're basically divvying up the machines that have been shipped out to the UK?
Not entirely sure. I don't know if it's a case of if Phil tells them how many orders he's got.
I think sometimes I think sometimes poor old Phil asks for stuff and then he gets a complete different.
I don't know whether it's Stern or Electrocoin particularly, but I think certainly. So there's some manufacturers. I know for a fact. I don't want to get it wrong, but I know for a fact Stern sell to Electrocoin and Electrocoin sell to Pinball Heaven, and everyone else. It's not just this is something they'd be the same for Liberty Games or the other one whose name escapes me. What's the other one?
Home
Leisure Direct, and but there's no middleman basically with the Chicago Gaming Company. There's no deal. So basically, I think Phil is just the importer. I think Phil is the sole distributor.
I think he is. He is.
So sorry, we keep saying Phil. Just got to stop it. Pinball Heaven, which is obviously up in the. It's above Ian's head.
It's over there. Ian's got it.
There it is. There. Yeah. So sorry. Speaking about Phil, it's Pinball Heaven. Unless we're speaking about Pinfest, we're still about Phil, and that's a different Phil. Lots of Phils, lots of Chris's in Pinball actually. So you're getting a really good deal on this, I think, Spence. And my point was, it wouldn't surprise me if it was a comparable amount, really good. Particularly, you look at some of the prices of pinballs now, which is another a conversation for another podcast. I think, to be fair, pinball prices at the moment we'll deal with another time. But it wouldn't surprise me if you got that. I'm interested, actually, Ian, what your thoughts are. We've discussed it. What your thoughts are on Godzilla so far? Have you seen any of the videos or anything?
I saw the dead flip reveal. I saw all I've seen of it was Keith's game at the end when he just blew it up and then dropped the mic and walked off. It does look good. It does look very good. Again, it's one of those where what flavor do you want? Do you want the extra, the extra sauce on top, but it's going to cost you? For me, it's one of those you just have to play them because you've got the extra toys, but do they really affect the gameplay, or is it eye candy? Don't really know until you play it.
Well, I'm all for a bit of eye candy, quite frankly, on a pinball machine. It's more flashing lights and paint and anodized nuts and bolts. The better, as far as I'm concerned. Chris made a great point. He does wonder if when the building collapses and all the balls tip out, are they just all going to pile straight down the middle?
Do you know? I thought the same thing when I saw the video the other day because they kind of come off the top story, and then they drop down a short way. I wonder how long the playfield's going to last underneath that drop surface.
I'd imagine they probably put a bit of Mylar under there, wouldn't they?
Yeah. Hopefully, yeah. You'd like to think that they would, but yeah, it did look like they could end up heading straight down between the flippers if you weren't careful.
It's fine. It's fine without being funny. It's a multi-ball. You're going to have ball saves anyway. So they're just going to be returned back to you straight away. So it wasn't. I really like the mechanical Godzilla. I've got the name wrong. Metalzilla. What's he called? What's the fella called?
Mechzilla.
Mechazillathon.
I don't know.
Mechazillosaurus. Clearly, he looks cool, by the way. The bridge I can take or leave. But anyway, I've done some drawings, fellas. It may well obscure Spencer's face, but it'll be an improved experience for anybody watching. Right, okay. Excuse me with the technology. No, that's not it. Hold on. There you go. Right, okay.
Oh,
obscuring Spencer's face, we've got the playfield. Okay. Now, if you look, I think it's right. So you've got the flipper on the middle left-hand side. Here's what I thought. I thought that flipper was going to be able to hit the ramp. Okay. Now, can you see the ramp in the top right there?
So you're talking about ramp, the one that's labelled 18, yeah?
Ramp number 18. I also thought, quite possibly when I first saw it, maybe that flipper would be able to hit that little loop that's labelled. I think it's the switches that are labelled, but let's call it loop number 13.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? Basically, I thought that it was going to be able to do that. Right? Now,
how long did you spend on MS Paint doing that?
It's take a lot. I've got a master's in graphic design, Ian. As you can see. So the teal colour at the bottom, or duck egg. I don't mind. Call it what you will. I believe that is a makeable shot. I think that's one of the shots. I also think so that's the lowest down shot. The next shot up was the yellow dotted line. I think that is a proper shot. They keep on looping that shot round and round and round. The next two shots, which is the red one, what we call 18 and then to 13, they're not on it, apparently. These are not shots that can be done.
What, you physically can't make them?
I think it can't. I think they're not part of it. And the more I looked at it, the more I was sort of looking at it. I've looked on these streams, and I've asked for clarification as well from other people. And other people look. So basically, have you seen off that flipper anybody hitting the ramp? And nobody has said yes. In fact, pretty much everyone has said no. And I think you can't hit the other one to the furthest left shot because actually the tower is in the way. And I looked at it, I thought, well, those are two wasted shots for me. And I thought, well, actually, the more I looked at it, do I want it to be Godzilla? No, I want it to be Avengers Infinity Quest. So, which is what does do that. But so I still think that needs a little bit of clarification. The other thing is, I think I've done it here. No, excuse me, that one's coming next. Right. If you look at the route and look at the trajectory of this, right? Okay, so that's off the right flipper, and it goes behind it. Right, now let me show you the naked playfield again. Right, can you see that there's a little space behind that flipper it goes through?
Yep.
Okay, so now if you look again on that, I thought it was going to do that. In essence, what I thought it was going to be was like... That's what I thought was going to happen with it going through that loop. Clearly, that's not going to happen at all. So that was another thing. So basically, my early impressions of the game, I thought it was going to be a totally different game to the one it's been. And now the final shot, not that one, there's the final shot, which is a shot that can be made, is a wonderful, wonderful shot. But it seems you've got to be very, very skillful to hit this shot, which takes it up onto the ramp. So obviously, that's right flipper up to the left ramp. Those are my thoughts on the game, really. And there's a lot of look. It's not an overview of what it's an overview of what it doesn't do rather than what it does do, and it does do an awful lot. But it looks far more difficult than I thought it would be. And I now look at it, I think this may well be beyond my skill set. This game, basically.
I think you missed the most obvious shot that probably the rest of us are going to make. Is the upper flipper to the right outlay.
Absolutely. I didn't mark that one up, actually.
You should have done it in brown.
Yeah. What are your? I mean, the toys you can take or leave. What are your thoughts on the game? Well, actually, Ian, are you a fan of the guy? Are you a fan of Elwyn's games thus far?
All three of them, yeah, definitely. I think that they're Maiden, was it Avengers and Jurassic Park?
Yeah.
Are three absolute A-star games for me. So yeah, looking forward to see what he can do on this one. It does seem to have, new ideas, and I think with him being one of the best players, he comes up with things that maybe others possibly wouldn't think about on these games in terms of geometry and how you can flow from one side to the other. So I think proof's in the pudding, but I think it could well be another one of the top games, and I think that's probably why Gary seems to have given him an open checkbook to say, throw on this game what you think. There's more on this than anything else that we've seen for a while.
Well, it's funny. Yeah, and thank you for everybody, by the way, that confirmed the abbreviated term that we were looking for was BOM, which was build of materials, which we
build of materials,
build of materials, which is what Ian's talking about here, which is that he had loads of he basically had a really good budget to spend on it. So Gary Stern's saying, Keith, have all this money, here's a few $100, buy yourself some ramps, great ramps. Here's a few more $100. Have magnets, let's have magnets. Okay, so flippers, let's have more flippers. Fantastic. And he does it all. And who does do the art? Zombie Yeti can do the art. We'll give him a few $100 per machine. So there's money flying around and they get it all done. This wonderful game built. And then it gets to the end and then he says, Gary, how much is left in the budget? And he says a couple of cents, basically, or a dime or something. So we better get some bloke in to do the voiceovers then. But aside from that, it does look very good. But I don't think I can press forward with this particular.
I think you've got to play it, haven't you? You got to play it first.
I think you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right.
You're still cold on it, are you? You haven't changed your mind.
Well, I have changed my mind three times. I've changed my mind, and now it's not I'm cold on it. I'm perfectly prepared for it to be an excellent game, Spencer. I think it would be if this turned out to be the best game of all time, it would not surprise me. I think he's just punctuating that Pinside top 10 with his releases all the time. I think he's very, very good. This is not it. I can only really talk about Jurassic Park and Avengers Infinity Quest because I've not spent an awful lot of time on Iron Maiden. I played it 4 or 5 times, but I wouldn't say I knew the machine. I don't find Jurassic Park or Avengers Infinity Quest to be particularly cruel. I think you've got to play well to hit all the shots in sequential order and do what the game wants you to do. But I don't feel that drains cheaply. For instance, what's the shot called on Jurassic Park? The missile shot. I think it's called the missile shot on Jurassic Park. It's a really tough shot, particularly if the Jeep has been maneuvered in the way. However, you're not losing the ball necessarily if you don't hit it. It's, you get to carry on. You don't pick up the 10 million points or whatever it is, but the game carries on. So I actually find these games quite forgiving. It's just you're not losing the, basically, if you play badly, you're not losing the ball all the time. You just won't score particularly highly. And I really like that. I think he's got it nailed. And a lot of his ideas. Certainly. Ian, have you been out playing much since or you just been playing Spider-Man at home? You got out at all?
Not much, no, to be honest. I did my back in a couple of weeks ago, so I've not been even walking that much. But yeah, just not since Pinfest. Yeah, not a huge amount, to be honest.
You didn't you weren't, whatever they call it, turtle in a pinball machine to put you back out, were you?
No, I was painting my bathroom ceiling.
Oh, you don't do that.
I'm not going to go into any more on that.
No, there's no benefit to that.
Yeah,
Really,
exactly.
you could and should have been playing pinball.
Yes.
I just want to, while I've got it here, actually, I almost forgot to play this clip because in a minute I just want to have a chat about Play Expo, and go for a few things on that. Now, the Mandalorian, which is obviously Brian Eddy, as I noticed, is sort of looks like it's been one of those slow burners. Seems to be gaining popularity slowly. So you've got the Yoda in the back left of the machine, who does nothing.
Yeah,
right?
Absolutely nothing. I was amazed that he's not even animated in the slightest. He doesn't move.
He's not. So some chap on Pinside found a model Yoda on Amazon, something like that. I might have this story slightly wrong. He's started to animate it or make it work within a pinball machine. Now, what's happened since then is someone else over in Germany has got hold of this, and what they're actually in the process of doing now is putting optos around the playfield or what, I don't know, sensors, something. You know me, I don't know anything about this stuff. So actually, he's moving in time with the gameplay, and he's now rigged up to the board, whatever the 12 volt or whatever the case may be. I've got a little clip of the little Jedi mind.
Einmal Licht. Und kein Licht. Licht. Und kein Licht.
That's pretty good.
Not bad.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's some sort of animated toy anyway. I think they've used a pre-animated model of it, but to rig that up to some sensors is exactly what that game needs.
I don't think it wasn't Yoda speaking German, by the way.
No.
He says something about launchen Steinen Pinballen Steinen.
Das ist nicht gut.
Nein. Yeah, multi-ballen Stein. Yeah, no, none of that. That would be good. He's got a very deep voice.
It would be very good.
Can you imagine how much Mesomods would charge for that?
Go on. What do you reckon? I reckon 500.
Yeah.
But it's what the game needs. It should have had that from the start, easily. I mean, the Baby Yoda should be the star of the show. It's the biggest model on the playfield.
I mean, again, I think it's one of those where the Star Wars license is that expensive. They can't. Again, it's in your bill of materials. Your license is taking up X amounts per machine. That's probably maybe why Godzilla's got more on it, because maybe the license for Godzilla is a lot cheaper to put on than Star Wars.
Maybe they just told Brian Eddy. He said, "Can I have a moving Yoda?" No, we've given Keith all the money. Sorry, Brian. Right. Let's we've done that. Let's have a little chat. Tell us, please, Ian. Tell us all about what's going on in Blackpool. Tell us when it is, where it is, and whilst you're doing that, I'll pop up a couple of pictures.
Sure. So the 23rd, 24th of October, we've got Play Expo Blackpool. So the event itself has got all sorts of different parts to it. So, and you see there, you've got arcade machines, you've got obviously Northern Lights Pinball, doing all the pinball side, retro consoles and computers, LAN gaming, gaming tournaments, cosplay, guest speakers, there's like a vendor hall as well where you can buy all sorts of stuff. So it's you see the pinball there. So there's a whole load of nerdy things under one roof for everybody to get the teeth into. Really, it's something that Northern Lights Pinball have supported for many years, doing it at either Manchester or Blackpool. I think the last Blackpool one was 2018, and it was a really good show. We hope to have something again similar this year. The whole Northern Lights team will be there helping out, running the pinball side of things. We've got a Saturday night lock-in as well. There's the and that will be there.
You must explain this. We need an explanation here.
So
before you go any further.
That's Moose in his chair with Roger looking on. So this is the Addams Family electric chair. So what we've got there is obviously an Addams Family machine, and it's hooked up to the Moose chair. So this was a combined effort of a few in the team to put together this absolute beast of a project. So you basically control the Addams Family machine from the electric chair, and there's on the chair on the handles there's buttons on the top that you use to control the flippers. And at certain points in the game, inside the handles, there's like not actual electric shockers, but there's like the feedback you'd get off your PlayStation controller. There's motors inside it to make it feel as if you're being shocked. And if you just pull up the picture again, Hold on. Yeah. So you can see obviously at the top of it, you got your boost power meter at the back, at the top of it. So inside there is a smoke machine as well. So when you start multi-ball or
I've just noticed the smoke. Noticed the smoke.
Yeah, the machine will start smoking as well.
And is the man with a bucket there in case he gets so scared he poos himself?
I would hope not. It's something that's we take to a lot of the shows, and it's very, very popular.
I can imagine it would be.
And it's as heavy as it looks as well. It's an absolute beast.
It's solid, isn't it? It's solid.
Yeah, it's a proper job.
Excellent. That is excellent. Is that going to be featuring in Blackpool?
Yes. Yeah. I spoke with Darren earlier today, and confirmed that the chair is coming to the show.
Excellent. Right. So, how many pinball machines are we expecting to see there?
Well, we're hoping up to 50. We've had donations open for a couple of weeks. We could do with some more. So, if anybody is currently going to the show, anybody who's thinking of going to the show and is able to get a machine in a car or a van, any donations are much appreciated. Anybody who does, it's kind of like Pinfest, so anybody who takes a machine will have a free entry for the weekend of the show, and any additional machines on top of the one, you'll get a £25 kickback from the team as well. If you're able to take 6 or more, we'll be able to hopefully sort out other things for you too. But yeah, we could do with some more machines being pledged. It's a little bit slow so far. We should be able to make the target. But if anybody is coming to the show, anybody who's thinking about coming to the show, all donations are much appreciated by the team. And again, those people who were at Pinfest who spotted I think it was you, Spencer, who termed them the blue Smurfs running around fixing all the machines. That was the Northern Lights team who were, maintaining the pins during the show. So it's given a kickback to the whole team for what we do on our show. So if anybody can get any pins there, if you go onto the forum and get in touch with Replicas and let him know what you can bring, anything we can get for the show is much appreciated.
Who's replicas?
It's Darren.
Okay,
Yes.
yeah, okay, gotcha.
So he's sort of he's running the actual, the donation side of things.
Is it Darren? Is it Spider-Man Darren's?
Yes. Yeah.
Gotcha. That's it.
Yeah.
Yes, you basically stolen all Darren's machines over the years, haven't you?
Well, I try my best. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's got good stuff.
I remember from the first podcast we did. Who's obviously aside from the army of Smurfs, who's involved in the running of this? But well, I guess it's a. Tell us about the Northern Lights team, mate.
Yes, I mean there's a collection of people. There's far too many to sort of, mention everybody. But as part of the show, as you saw in that picture, we do with things like the Adams Chair. We ask people to make donations for charities. So we have raised a lot of money for Teenage Cancer Trust.
You can see that there on the right. Yes,
yeah,
indeed.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed.
And at the larger shows like at Manchester, we've run tombolas. So people donate items that you can win in the tombolas. So that's the sort of stuff that we do. And obviously, there's a lot of pinheads involved. And so there is a team there that will be there Friday, Saturday, Sunday, possibly Monday, doing the usual things with any pinballs, setting them up, looking after them, breaking them down, packing them off, sending them home. So it's a big team effort, and so there's also people who do the lock-in. We're planning to do a competition on the Saturday night as well. So anybody who wants a bit of Whopper point chasing,
what?
The Whopper points, the world ranking points.
Oh,
right.
Yes. Whopper chasers, as we call them.
Whopper chasers. Yes. Yeah.
So there could be a pinball event on, and some people say, "I'm not going to that." As soon as you put Whoppers on, they'll suddenly turn up.
Okay, so you've got some competitions there
on the Saturday night
with Whopper points. Okay.
Yes, yeah. So Paul Garner, who ran the Pinfest comp.
What's his name? Wizcat.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice guy, lovely guy.
Yeah. So he ran the Pinfest tournament with Wayne. So he's going to be involved running the Saturday night Flip Frenzy tournament.
I like it.
Yeah, it's a really good, unique format to get a lot of games against a lot of people in a shortish amount of time.
Well, how's that work then?
It's quite hard to explain actually. So if you have say 20 people doing the competition, you'll have, let's say, 16 people playing in games of two, one against one. So you'll play your game against someone else, and then you will go into the queue. And then as you advance through the queue, you will then play against someone who has come out of their game. So basically, there's a constant stream of games against other people within a set time period. So I think Paul's asking, doing it so there'll be an hour's qualifying, and then a pizza break, and then another hour of qualifying. So the idea of the actual competition games is you need to win, but you need to win quick, because the qualifying is based on how many games you win rather than as a percentage. So you need to win games in a short period of time. You don't want to be having some long drawn out game like Will and Andy on Wizard of Oz at Pinfest.
Sure.
You want your games to be over quickly, so it kind of changes your strategy in a way of how you approach your game, where you think, oh, I can grind out a score doing this, but if I take a bit of a chance and get a big score quick, then that might win me the game. It might not. But it's a good format that changes up the way that you play.
Maybe some laxatives in the pizza or something, and don't eat the
Oh,
pizza
don't
yourself.
give it away.
Sorry,
that would definitely do it.
Yeah.
There's definitely avenues for skullduggery.
I reckon the 10 minutes in that Adams family chair beforehand would just about set you up for that.
Yeah,
rig it up to the mains and just let fly.
I know. I'm disappointed. It's not. I could think of several modifications for that chair.
You can get those sort of. There are those games where you have to sort of basically do pass the parcel. Sort of like party games. And if this timer goes off while you're holding it, you get a mild electric shock off it. And they're pretty good fun. I think certainly for adults on that, or anybody that wants to participate on that Adams family chair, I think one of those would be a great addition.
It is always funny to see somebody's reaction who's not expecting the shock when they have
the rumble
for the first. Yeah. Because it is quite. You notice it straight away.
Yeah, absolutely. It reminds me of. Funny enough, I watched a Louis Theroux Scientology documentary the other day. They had a chair not dissimilar to that. Maybe I'm going into murky waters that we probably that's probably not befitting of this particular podcast. So just sorry once again, Ian, the dates for that, please, mate.
Yeah, so it's the 24th and 25th of October.
Yeah,
I'm sure you put a description on the.
I will
on the video. So say you can get slightly cheaper tickets through the Northern Lights team. So it's ukpinball.com/Twilight Zone, and that'll take you to our page where you can get slightly discounted tickets either for the Saturday, for the Sunday, for the weekend tickets. So yeah, it's a whole weekend where you've got pinball. Or it's basically your childhood under one roof with a bunch of other nerds doing the same thing.
Sure. Yeah,
and
well,
some cosplay as well.
Yeah,
well, you sent me a lot of pictures, actually. To be fair, of all the stuff that's going on. Where is it? Where's the venue?
It's at the Norbreck Hotel in Blackpool.
Yeah,
it's a huge hotel if you've ever seen it. It is a little bit faulty towers if you stayed there, but the ballroom itself, where the event is fine.
Yeah, I've spent many a summer season in Blackpool. I say Blackpool is not alien to me at all. In fact, one of the weirdest nights in my life was spent on the North Pier, getting drunk with the singer Russell Watson, the singer Sonia, and Paul O'Grady. And some. Actually, I can't say too much more. But it ended, and then obscurely, Julia Clary turned up, and then somebody from whatever, I don't know, the Blackpool Gazette or something like this. Basically the local paparazzi turned up, and you had Julia Clary and Paul O'Grady trying to run away from the paparazzi, one of whom was in full drag, whilst little. I think she was a Scouser, little Sonia. I can't remember the song she sang, but she had one hit wonder, wasn't she? While she was drunkenly wagging her finger in this photographer's face, screaming at him that he mustn't take any more photos. That was an interesting night.
I'm sure the paparazzi weren't there for you.
They definitely weren't there. They definitely weren't there for me.
They definitely weren't there for Chris.
No. But that was that was a funny evening. So yeah, I'm fully aware of and I don't think that was completely indicative of Blackpool, but we certainly had many a fun summer season up there on the North Pier. That was for sure. And now you were playing you entered the competition at Pinfest. You're not a bad player, to be fair, mate.
I didn't do too well in it though. Wasn't the best tournament we've done, but you didn't do too badly considering what you were expecting beforehand.
No one wants to hear me talk about myself again. I can assure you. But you've got really good game knowledge. How do you manage to do all that? Because just even listening to you speak on the commentary as well, thinking, how did you know all these rules? Because you're saying, okay, you're basically someone to lock a ball and you're saying, okay, what he needs to do is this now. And do you just watch loads of videos or something?
Yeah, I mean, there's tutorials on pretty much every game that's out there. I mean, often what happens is if you go to a tournament and there's a game there that you don't know, easiest thing is just see if maybe Papa have done a tutorial video with Bowen or IE Pinball. There's plenty of resources out there to sort of just have a knowledge of a game. But the thing is, for the sake of a competition, you don't necessarily need to know how to get to final wizard modes and stuff like that. You just need to know, how can I get a respectable score? Where's my multi-ball, where's my modes, where's my other ball, that sort of thing. So you don't need a comprehensive list of everything. Because, I mean, let's face it, most games nowadays for modes, it's shoot what's lit. Or if something's flashing a bit, more quickly than others, then shoot that. So most games are quite self-explanatory in terms of what you need to do as you're progressing through a game. But again, with tournament, it's usually, where's my multi-ball at? Where's my safe points? You don't need to know how to get to the end of the game, Because usually in tournaments, they're set up so hard, you don't even want to think about that. You just want to get a good base score and go from there, really. Which is why I think some of the value games are better for tournaments because the rule sets aren't so deep. Take a game like Dracula. That's quite basic, but an absolutely fantastic tournament game.
They can be too long, can't they? Some of these games for tournaments, I feel certainly. Obviously, it's dependent on the standard of player, but I think possibly you need a hard game, and actually, that's probably where a game like Walking Dead comes into its own.
Yeah,
actually, I mean, Star Wars at the moment is kicking my ass. I mean, it really is. It's so hard. I think it's the third or the fourth hardest game I've played. I think.
How many times have you drained from smashing that button in the middle?
Oh, the thing is, I think I'm actually getting quite good at it now. I say good at it half the time. So what I'll do is, if you just time it, you're trying so desperately to catch the ball on the flipper so you can start hitting to kill the TIE fighters. It's definitely a test of your coordination. I don't mind that bit, actually. I don't mind. I find that a really, really good test. I don't mind that at all. Because when you do get it, it's just it's really worth it. And sometimes each TIE fighter you hit, because incrementally they go up. I've got it sometimes and they're worth so much more. I'm still at the stage I don't know why they were worth more that time than the time before. And I don't mean because it's deeper in the game. Sometimes the first time I hit that mode, they're finishing up on, you're sort of getting 700,000, 800,000 for each one towards the end. Whereas sometimes each TIE fighter, you do it and it's getting 300,000, 400,000 for each one. So I'm not sure really what's going on there. But I mean, just in terms of, I think the speed, the geometry, the ferocity of the game, it's really, really hard. I don't know if that would lend itself to a good tournament game. I just mean the ball time, times are short, really short,
Yeah, I know theatre is. I know when you went to Neil's and you went to the competition down there, he actually apologised for the amount of time that it was taking to get games through on theatre, and you had to make some adjustments to that because that again that's a long playing game, and some of the Bally Williams ones are pretty long. You can, as you said, you can change a rule set on them, but to try and shorten them down. But some of them people just go to town on.
Well, you've got tournament. Just take us through that if you wouldn't mind, Ian. What do people do to a machine when they take it to a tournament? Is switch? Because I mean, I think it was one of them. It was possibly even at Pinfest. It was Pinfest, in fact. And I'm trying to hit the Jeep on Jurassic Park to get T-Rex multi-ball.
Weren't we all?
Come on, tell us. Because I didn't know.
Yeah, so I think on obviously a lot of the modern games, there'll be a tournament setting,
right,
which kind of takes some of the randomness out of the game to make the scoring between players a bit more balanced. So obviously, I think with Jurassic Park, typically when you play that, your first T-Rex mode will be a multi-ball, which I think caught everybody out because everybody was doing that when they started the game. And then it started this other T-Rex mode. You think, what the crap is that? That's not what I was expecting. But I think what it does, it changes the order of the modes. So you would have still gotten the multi-ball, but it might have been the second T-Rex mode instead of the first. But obviously, the way those machines were set up for average players, you wouldn't probably have seen a second T-Rex mode during your qualifying game on it.
Sure. It's yeah. I mean, that was a surprise to me, and this is why I think it's interesting playing tournaments. So when I went to Neil's as well on Star Trek, so I've got Star Trek is actually Star Trek is going down to Spencer's this went on Wednesday.
Lucky boy.
Went on Wednesday. But I had it here before Neil's. I thought I'll have a few games of Star Trek. Okay. And you've got the modes at the bottom where there's 9 modes, and however many it is, I think it's 9 modes, whatever it is.
6, isn't it? 6.
No, it can't be because there's a bank of 3, and whatever. I don't know. I whatever it is. Might even be 7. Not sure. Someone's screaming at us right now. Someone's watching us. There's no point screaming at us. By the way, we recorded this yesterday, but someone's screaming at us exactly how many modes it is. But they're lit. So it's whatever the Klingon mode, whatever I don't know, the drill mode and this, that, and the other. And I went and heals, and none of them were lit. So I thought, there's no modes. There's literally no modes, and it completely threw me. I mean, it was awful. My worst games. And then actually somebody said, "Oh no, it's in tournament mode or whatever." And what you got to do is not like when normally I'd finish a mode, which is to hit it under you lift the flipper up, and you hit it under the flipper. That was how you'd start a mode. The game was over before I'd even had that conversation. So it's not just experience of a game; it's experience of knowing how a game is going to play in a tournament, right?
I think one of the easiest things you can do in a way is watch other people. When they start a game, what's it doing that's different to what you might expect?
It's a bit tricky though. I mean, certainly at Penfest, you really weren't in a position to go and watch what people were doing. You're going to really upset somebody by staring over their shoulder.
What's that light on? Yeah.
Excuse me, what are you doing? But,
I mean, I think one of the best examples I could give was Pinburg, where it's the biggest tournament that's ever been, and those games were set up absolutely brutal. So on all the modern games, there's no ball save, all the outline posts are removed, all the rubbers are taken off to help you.
What?
Yeah, it's because obviously you've got the best players in the world there, so they need to keep the game time short. So even something like Lord of the Rings, if you have a 5-minute game on there, you've done very well. Because they're set up to just absolutely kick your ass.
Wow.
Fortunately, I won't be getting an invite to Pinburg any time ever.
It was an education, let's put it that way.
So what, you went over there?
Yeah, 2 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah.
What was that like? Aside from brutal, what was that like?
Yeah, I think there was 12 people went from the UK.
How'd you get
2
on?
years ago. Didn't do too bad. I got to B division, so I was happy with that.
Okay.
I beat Lyman Sheets.
Did you?
Well, you have a dark horse. See, what are you saying this stuff at the start of the podcast? So
what I mean is,
how come you got into play in that tournament then?
Well, basically, I think it was in February of that year. The entries for the comp went on sale, and there was 1,000 entries, and I think they all went in about 15 seconds.
Oh, so you bought your way in?
Well, yeah, you had to.
Right.
How'd you qualify for that? Money. Just hard cash.
There you go. And having a few screens available to get the tickets, because how fast they went is just unbelievable. Sure. We had a little group of, I think there was myself, Dan, and Paul were on a Skype call at the same time, because we were buying. I think you could get up to 5 tickets per purchase, so we were buying, on behalf of other people as well. And literally, as soon as they're in your shopping basket, you buy them tickets, because otherwise they're gone. But yeah, there was, it was a good holiday and a pinball tournament and that thrown in as well. But the scale of things over there was just absolutely unreal.
Really?
As an event, yeah. Because the tournament, Pinburg itself, I think had 350 games.
Okay.
Just for the tournament.
Oh, wow.
And
just for the tournament?
Just for Pinburg. And there was another probably 200 machines in the sort of the free play area as well, under one roof. The scale of it was just absolutely phenomenal.
That really does put it into context just how big it is. Yeah, that's phenomenal.
Yeah, I mean, it's a massive exhibition centre in Pittsburgh. They had it was kind of like Play Expo in a way, but obviously there was a lot more pinball to it. But yeah, they had arcade machines and tournaments, obviously for other types of gaming as well. But yeah, the whole event was just absolutely superb, and it was great to meet some of the the Papa team as well, like Bowen. I had a quick chat with Keith Elwyn as well. So yeah, It was sort of like it was. You got to spend a few minutes with your pinball heroes as well whilst you were over there.
What an experience! Yeah, I mean that sounds fantastic. I had no idea, mate. Well done, brilliant.
I was saying Paul had been badgering me for a couple of years to go, and it's the sort of the cards fell into place to go a couple of years ago. So there was a few of us went to New York for a few days beforehand to obviously get over the jet lag, because you don't want to do what Craig Pullen did and literally land in the States the day before you enter this tournament, because Craig's a bit mad.
But that's his style, isn't he? Rocked up
Yeah,
at
that's it,
rocked up at Pinfest, and he's
He just sort of pushes the doors open and gets on with it, and then
Here
cracks
I
them
am.
out afterwards.
and leaves. Yeah.
And just to plug it as well, Andy Foster, he got to the A Division finals, and I think out of 1,000 players overall, I think he finished 24th.
It's amazing.
Wow,
And
that
he
is amazing.
He got to play on the main stage in the A Division finals as well against some of the best in the world, and he absolutely held his own with them. Yeah, it was really good to watch that as well.
And you were there watching that?
Yeah, that was on the the finals day. So they had qualifying over 2 days, and the finals were on the Saturday. So yeah, there was a group of us watching Andy absolutely kicking their ass of these famous American players.
Andy, because I spoke to Andy at Neil's briefly. He hurt his finger actually on a Wizard of Oz.
Yeah, don't drop a Wizard of Oz on your finger.
You don't
No.
drop a Wizard of Oz, or any wizards.
No wizards.
On any part of your body, really. It's probably just good sage advice. And I think I remember having a chat with Craig in as much as, did he possibly say that 2 people can qualify from the UK through rankings or something? I might have that wrong.
I think that's the World Championships.
Okay.
Because that was supposed to have taken place, I think, in Florida last year. Because there was a few of us who did a bit of fundraising for Andy to be able to go.
Yes.
And unfortunately, it didn't happen. So hopefully, if he gets an opportunity to go over there, I think he'll do absolutely fine. Yeah,
that would be that. Well, I'm thinking of making a late run for the second place myself. Really, to be fair, the way I've been playing Deadpool today, you never know. Yesterday's form, not so much.
So if there was a tournament with 10 Deadpools there, you think you'd be okay then?
When I played at Neil's, the Deadpool was awful. I came 4th out of 4.
Yeah, the Deadpool was awful, was it?
I was awful. It was terrible.
Okay.
It was terrible. I don't know what happened. Honestly, I know that game. I know that game almost backwards. I don't know every shot of that game. You don't know, sometimes you know a game so well, even if it's just sort of trickling out from somewhere slowly, whether just the angle's going to, the camera's going to take it slightly towards left or right flipper. So I know that game. So if you said to me, play a game and don't lose the ball and just play safe shots, that would be the one. Not a problem. I'll keep the ball active in there for ages. I thought this is going to be a dodder, isn't it? It was terrible. I think I actually got. Oh, I don't know. I think I got less than $1 million on my first ball or something like that. It was awful.
Oh dear.
And the rest didn't get any better, really. I think my total score was. I'd rather not say.
No, please say. Please say right now.
I think it was. It was terrible, Spencer.
No, don't you skirt the issue, right? I want to know what that score was.
I think it was less than 10 million. I think
okay.
it was 7 million or something like that. It was truly awful. The worst game of Deadpool I've ever played in my life. I played right then in the tournament.
In front of everyone.
Well, fortunately, there was only 3 other people watching, so it's so busy at Neil's. I don't even think even the 3 people in my group, other 3 other people in my group, overly watching. There's so much to see and do there, isn't it? But yeah, it's do you know what? I've come to the conclusion that it doesn't matter, but having some knowledge of a game does help. But just because you know a game doesn't mean you'll necessarily play well on it. But those little nuanced things, like knowing the T-Rex multi-ball isn't working, like the getaway. I didn't know that you meant to drain a couple on the getaway. The great irony is I normally drain a couple anyway, just didn't happen that time. And the gear stick thing, the rev counter or whatever it is on the getaway, didn't know about it. Stuff like that is going to be priceless. So, your game knowledge is really, really important. I think that's about it, fellas. Unless was there anything else that we were up on the news for the? I'm just trying to have a look at the moment. Really, I don't think there's.
I think we covered most things. We've talked about Cactus and what's happening up in Blackpool.
Just to add, hopefully, if everything falls to plan, if Chris Brim gets his Godzilla prior to the show, it will be at the show.
Ah.
That's
Okay.
obviously all depending on the machine getting over here in time.
Yeah.
But we have been promised if Chris does have Godzilla, we will have it there at the show.
Wow,
Well,
that's really good.
I'm more than happy if anybody wants to use my sketches about all the shots in Godzilla as a sort of tutorial. So as if you want to know what shots that you're going to make and stuff like that, you're more than welcome to use any of that stuff.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
You're very, very welcome. Ian, listen, mate, have a cracking time. I'm sure you're going to. Don't get strapped into the chair for too long. I wish you well. Wish you all the best. Anybody watching this, then obviously all the links to Play Expo are going to be down below. It goes without saying that the machine donation is incredibly important, and the more machines that they can get, the better. I can say this from personal experience now. I was playing Deadpool. Wonderful. That's been that. I think I got played for almost 4 days solid at Pinfest as well. It's in immaculate condition, absolutely fantastic. Apart from the scoreboards, but aside, what can you do? Someone's going to beat your score. They're going to beat your score. But Ian, listen, all the very best, mate. Click the links below if you want to donate, you want to get joined in, or if you want to go and attend. Ian, I'm gonna dump you out. Stay there, mate. I'll say goodbye to you now, mate. There you go, Spence. Ian.
Oh, happy days. Yeah. It looks like a lot of fun to be had up in Blackpool.
Certainly does. Have you changed the angle? Have you changed the angle of your camera? Or you?
I'm just moving around, just doing my thing.
Oh, I look like you've changed you changed your camera as well. I need to stop using this webcam and use a proper camera.
I'm doing quite well. I've got lights and a microphone, and I've got my DSLR now.
It looks like it. You got a bit of separation going on there, my friend.
Yeah, well, I tried the old webcam, and I didn't get on very well with it.
No. Well, listen, it's working perfectly well. Excited for you with the Cactus Canyon, although I think you might be waiting a little while because obviously they've clearly not done the code yet. So that's fine.
To be honest, I've got a Star Trek coming down later on this week, so that's going to keep me happy for a little while. There's no urgency. No,
none at all. I'd just like to reiterate what I said last week, which is if you're looking to purchase a pinball machine through Pinball Heaven, please do get your name down on a list. Don't just wait for these things to come in and then think, hey, Godzilla, great, I'll have a Godzilla, because they might all be gone by then. These things
I think they will be gone. I think it's a very sensible move to at least put your hand up and get yourself on a list.
Yeah, absolutely. Here. Right. We're going to go. We'll leave you to it. Thanks, everybody else, for watching. We've got Scott's coming up soon. We've got... Who else we got? We got Chris is going to be on really soon. He's got loads of pinball machines, apparently. We're going to talk about that. Scott's just sold... He has just sold Hook. So he had Hook. He's selling Hook. We're going to talk some Alien because he's Alien that you saw me playing at Pinfest. So we're going to talk about that. He picked up Hook from Pinfest. That's lived at his house. Now it's gone as well. It seems not very long ago, really, that we were talking about Scott's Voyager Discovery and getting the Star Trek in the back of his hatchback car down the motorway. And it's, he had a lot of stories to tell already. Now he's got even more stories to tell. So
I'm really interested to know how he's got on with that Alien. That's something I really want to catch up on.
Well, there's loads. There's loads to talk about with that. He's I think he's really getting on well with it now. He's had new playfields. He's not playfields, not loads of them. It's been. I think it's been a little Voyager Discovery for him, but I think he's pretty. It's now. I think it's playing rather nicely, apparently now. So anyway, right. We will be back next week. I'm not sure. I'll try and get it up Tuesday again, but if we get another one recorded first, then that will be up. Spencer, thank you very much, my friend.
Take it easy.
Yeah, will do, mate. Will do. If, as ever, if you could please like the video, please subscribe if you haven't done so already. And if you're on Facebook or anything like that, then it'd be very much appreciated if you'd share the video. Thank you very much.